The Sun on Sunday has an article today by Michael Hamilton which states gangland killer Jack Williams has been freed from jail. Williams, 59, convicted of the notorious 1995 Essex boys murders, is living with his mum after winning parole. His family stays innocent, campaigning to clear his name. He and Michael Steele, now 76, were jailed in 1998 for the shotgun killings of Pat Tate, Tony Tucker and Craig Rolfe in a Range Rover in Rettendon. Williams, who is on licence, has been allowed to return to his mother's Suffolk home and work as a car mechanic. It comes after we told you in January how an ex-gangster claimed his father confessed to the killings of the drug-dealing trio. Steve Ellis said that Dad Sid told him they threatened his family. The killings have inspired books, TV shows and films including Essex Boys and Rise of the Foot Soldier. Controversy surrounded the convictions. They were based on the testimony of Supergrass Darren Nichols, who gave evidence after being arrested. Tate, 36, Tucker, 38 and Rolfe, 26, was said to have supplied the ecstasy pill which killed Leah Betts, 18, sparking threats of revenge. Nichols said in evidence he was the getaway driver for Williams and Steele, but criminal Billy Jasper told police he was the driver for a named assassin who Tate called just before he died. The Criminal Cases Review Commission is looking at the convictions and is expected to release findings later this year. Williams moved to an open prison in 2019 and was freed after exemplary behaviour inside. His licence conditions include bans from certain areas and contacting victims' relatives. He would have been freed earlier, but refused to admit the crime in prison, vital to fulfilling rehabilitation criteria. Steele is still behind bars at HBM Full Sutton, Yorkshire. Williams' mum, Pam, said Jack is out and is doing okay and has a good job. Brother John, 58, a retired builder, added, "We're over the moon at Jack is home and with his mum, which is what we always wanted. But we are still fighting to clear Jack's name, along with Michael Steele's." Now, there is actually a mistake in this article. If you go back to the part where it says that Billy Jasper told the police he was the driver for a named assassin, who Tate called just before he died. But this is a mistake. Going back to yesterday's article, which states from David McKelvey that the vital witness that Tate rang is connected to the person that Billy Jasper claimed that he dropped off on the evening of 6th of December. Yesterday's article from the Daily Mail by Tom Pettifor states that last man called by one of the murdered Essex boys was never questioned by the police. Retired detective David McKelvey says the suspected villain was linked to the man who previously named as the shooter by Billy Jasper. Instead, Jack Williams and Michael Steele were jailed for their life after being convicted for blasting the drug dealers with a shotgun in the Range Rover 26 years ago. But Mr. McKelvey and his team of highly experienced murder detectives, former murder detectives, now claim to have found evidence supporting the account of EastEnders criminal who told the police he was the getaway driver. Mr. McKelvey, who runs the police investigation firm TMI, says we have done a thorough and detailed investigation which led us to believe that there may have been a miscarriage of justice. Compelling new evidence throws the case into doubt and we are appealing for witnesses to come forward. The final call made from Tate's mobile, apart from one to his girlfriend, Sarah Saunders, was at 18:26 and lasted 17 seconds. It was never disclosed at the trial. Mr. McKelvey says the vital witness Tate rang is repeatedly named in the police murder file as a person of interest. Days after the murders, an action was raised to interview him, but when his solicitor said he was refusing to talk, officers gave up. Mr. McKelvey said, "How could you not talk to him? He was the last person to speak to Pat Tate on the phone before he was executed, just an hour and a half before. We have requested a meeting with the Chief Constable of Essex on 6 occasions to ask him about our findings without success. As a result, we'll be asking for those questions in public." Mr. McKelvey believes the evidence supports the account of EastEnders criminal Billy Jasper, who gave Essex police a detailed account of how he was the getaway driver for a named assassin. Detectives made no inquiries into his story. Mr. McKelvey says he has seen evidence which links the alleged shooter, named by Jasper, with the man called by Pat Tate before he was shot. The mistake in the other article claims that the person that Billy Jasper dropped off, named that Billy Jasper dropped off, was the same person that Pat phoned. It's not, he's linked to the person. What we have established is the 1826 call was made to an individual who was connected to the man for an armed robbery in 1989, McKelvey says. This was known to Essex police in 1995 and 1996, but they never formally interviewed these people about the murders. The convictions of Whyams, now 58, and Steele, 76, rested on the testimony of convicted fraudster Darren Nichols. Mr. McKelvey, who arrested Nichols in conviction with drug smuggling in 1996, had believed the pair were guilty. But he changed his mind after a year going over the files. He plans to present his findings to the Criminal Cases Review Commission and Essex Police. An Essex Police spokesperson said there was an exhaustive investigation and the evidence has been examined by the Criminal Cases Review Commission and the Court of Appeal. The case is under review with the CCRC and it would be appropriate to comment further. If you've not seen the appeal video, check it out on YouTube on the TMI channel. Any information on the case you can email at info@tmi.co.uk, or any information you can give them a call on 01992 766 591.